Hi all, I'm Dan Smigrod, founder of the We Get Around Network Forum. Today is Monday, January 22nd, 2018, and you're watching WGAN-TV live. We're live today, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and our guest today, Chris Fraser. He's with 3dcabintours.com, and we're going to go through and talk about this a little bit. Chris, good to see you this morning.
Good to be here, Dan. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Always enjoy visiting with you, Chris.
Yeah.
You've launched a Kickstarter program. You can find it online at 3dcabintours.com. And I guess my question is, if you're doing Matterport spaces, 3D tours for cabins, why not just publish them to Airbnb or VRBO or HomeAway? Why was it necessary to start this Kickstarter project?
Well, in a perfect world, that's what we would do. We would say, "Here's your code. Go plug it in there." But a lot of those sites actually aren't really, playing very nice with Matterport just yet. And so I've seen things in the forum, people talking and saying, "Hey, when are they gonna do this? When are they gonna open it up and let us put our stuff on there?" And so I started thinking, well, hey, we've been trying to join them. Let's beat them, but not really beat them in that sense. But I wanted to create something that was actually going to work, that wouldn't really conflict with what they're doing, but it would be something that would kind of work as an accessory to that, and let the homeowner, the person that's renting the home or the cabin, be able to say, hey, I've got a place to showcase this, but it's not interfering with what I'm doing over here with this other company.
Mm-hmm. Chris, I'm not while I'm a Matterport service provider, I don't shoot vacation rentals. So what's wrong with simply adding the Matterport link, or if you're using WP3D models, the WP3D models link to Airbnb or VRBO or HomeAway? Why can't you just add that link? What's the problem that you're solving here?
Well, basically, the reason you can't do it is because really, I think it boils down to Matterport is such a powerful visual tool that when someone sees a Matterport tour, it engages them more. They're more likely to buy, and they're more likely to reach out to whoever's listed on that Matterport tour to book. And so I think these other companies it appears that they see it as kind of a threat to their revenue stream, because if you go and put a Matterport tour link, let's say on Airbnb or whatever, I know some of them have talked about doing this kind of thing, but if you put that link on there, then that drives traffic away from them. So they don't really seem to like it too much. They don't like the idea of possibly losing that revenue, and I don't blame them. So the problem is they don't really have it built into their ecosystem to just plug it in and play and use it. And actually had one cabin client who I did the tour for them, sent them the information, and they went from just booking a little bit to booking like 3 months out. And then I had another one just recently that I went
and where was the link if it was not on Airbnb, VRBO, or HomeAway, or another vacation rental platform?
They actually did it with Facebook. So they had their network of friends. They reached out. They said, "Hey, share this," and it was working. And so I had a new client come up, and I said, "Oh yeah, I've got this other cabin. They've been doing really good with it." And because they'd asked me, they said, "Can I do this on VRBO?" And I said, "Yeah, I think you can. They've got booked solid." And then I contacted them and I said, "Hey, can I put you in touch with this new client and let you tell them what you did to get it on VRBO?" And she said, "I didn't get it on VRBO. They wouldn't let me." And I said, "Oh, okay." And I said, "How did you do it?" And she told me. And when she said that, to me, it was kind of like, okay, now it's time to do this. Because I had the idea in the back of my mind, had the URL for a little over a year now.
Well, we're just back up a little bit, and we'll go a little bit slower here.
Yeah.
So where'd this idea of doing a Kickstarter for 3dcabintours.com come from?
I realized, well, the reason for doing the Kickstarter is I kind of realized that, if I just had a couple of cabin tours that I've done and I plugged them in there and I said, "Hey, here are 3, 4, 5, 6 tours to look at for right now," it wouldn't really have much traction. And I started thinking, Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, which is kind of the area that I really focus on.
So this is northeast Tennessee, and
Well,
You are a Matterport service provider. Your company is tryreality.com. A little bit unusual spelling, I think, the tri area. So TRI, reality, REAL, real, ITY.
That's correct.
.com. So, over the last couple of years, in fact, I think parenthetically, you're such a great Matterport service provider or scanner that you did a 90-minute one take real time point of view video showing how best practices to scan, and you were actually scanning a cabin in that what is now a WGAN TV Training Academy video. So, you back a few years ago, it seems like a couple of years ago, you were doing a cabin, and then this idea hatched because there really wasn't a platform for hosting vacation rental cabins.
That's correct. Yeah, and actually, that was the original cabin. That's the one that went from kind of booked to booked up, and gave me the idea because I thought when I was scanning the cabin, I thought, well, wait, this is going to grow and this is going to get bigger, and it'd be great to have a platform to be able to do this. But I just kind of thought, well, this will be a place to just have it and host it, and we'll be competing with all these other places. But the other places never really seemed to kind of step up to the plate and say, hey, we'll put Matterport on. And I thought, well, okay, I'm not going to sit around and wait for them to do their thing. If, I've got the power to do it, let's do it, do a Kickstarter campaign and let people know that, hey, if there are cabins in your area, then here's a really good niche market that you could dig down in. So.
Will 3D and I keep talking about Will today, Monday, January 22nd, 2018. You've just launched this Kickstarter program. In fact, full disclosure, I went ahead and I'm your first backer there. So
yes, we're thankful for it.
We're looking over your shoulder. I see that you have one that's joined, and we get around. We don't even shoot cabins, but I just think what you're doing is so amazing that I want to be supportive of what you're doing. It seems like that this has been such a need for the We Get Around Network forum community to have a platform for vacation rentals, and in this particular case, you're focused on cabin vacation rentals because that's really your bread and butter. In East Tennessee.
That's correct. Yeah.
In Northeast Tennessee.
Northeast Tennessee, yeah. The Pigeon Forge Gatlinburg area actually is East Tennessee. I'm located just about 100 miles north, but we travel down and knock a bunch out at once and go that way. So,
Okay, great. So, will 3dcabintours.com require a Matterport space in order to have a listing on the platform?
That's yet to be determined. We're going to have to kind of look at it. That's kind of the purpose of it. So, the 3D cabin tours, we're still, a little vague there because, there are other 3D tours, but I personally think none like Matterport, but
okay. And it doesn't say Matterport, so it could be perhaps hosted on 360 tours, and then embed the 360 tours 360 tour within 3dcabintours.com.
Possibly.
So it doesn't. So that's why it's a little bit more generic. It's not Matterport. Obviously, you don't own Matterport, but I could imagine it might say MP for Matterport to kind of give a hint. But it sounds like you want to really be a little bit broader in terms of what 3D content is accepted for your platform.
Right. And actually, I plan to use Ross's WP 3D plugin as the base for it because it gives you a chance to really give a nice listing. So that that hosts more than just Matterport. It gives you other options there.
Yeah. In fact, with WP 3D Models WordPress plugin, since 360 Tours is also by WP 3D Models, which means it's super easy to embed a 360. I'll go slower because it can sound really confusing. But if you're presently using WP 3D Models WordPress plugin and you have a 360, you take your 360, one or more 360s, you put it on the platform called 360 Tours, which plays nice. It's seamlessly integrated with WP3D models. So that would be at the whether you've thought or not about including 360s. Essentially, if you're going to use WP3D models as the basis for the platform, then anyone could use 360 tours to host a 360 photosphere tour, and then add that to WP3D models and then be within 3dcabintours.com. It sounds way more complex, only because I've made it complex, but it's actually super easy. It's actually super easy to do. Okay, so
cool.
3dcabintours.com. Someone comes to the site. They go, that's the cabin I wanted to rent for the week. How do I pay for it?
Okay, this is actually the beautiful part. It's up to the cabin owner. I didn't want to, in the forum, I said, if you can't join them, beat them. That was more kind of a, hey, grab your attention kind of thing. I don't, I want something that's really symbiotic. I like it when things are win, 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 win. Everybody wins. And that's so rare in business sometimes. But with this, I wanted it to be something where the person who owns the property or is in charge of renting out the property would take the contact information in their tour and redirect that to wherever they want it to go. If they want to get an email at home and they want to do everything manually, if they want to send it to an email that auto responds and says, hey, register here at vrbo.com or HomeAway or Airbnb or wherever, that you send them through the channel you want them to go through. I mean, I really thought about the fact that, if I bought a cabin and I was going to rent it out, I would hate to think that, there's this really cool marketing tool out there that I could use to showcase it, but I can't use it because the company that I'm going through says, oh, no, we don't do that here. It's kind of like, let's give them a platform where they can show their property the way they want to show it, because with this we'll be able to include their photos, include the statistics and information, local amenities, other links. I mean, let them link back to all of the stuff that's around. We're not going to be picky about it. So,
yeah. In fact, I think I would describe a little bit what you're doing is like blue ocean marketing, which is essentially look at what HomeAway, VRBO, Airbnb are not doing, and doing the opposite to essentially make them irrelevant. Now, I'm not quite sure you're going to make Airbnb irrelevant, but I think in terms of having solving a problem that's not presently being addressed, it sounds like you're perfectly fine with the cabin owner linking out of the platform, which is not something that these other platforms are fine with.
Right. And actually, one thing that makes that possible and makes that not a big deal for us is I'm not going to charge for the booking. I mean, it's not like another booking fee because we went through 3dcabintours.com. You're basically going to pay, and it's not been determined yet, but it's going to be an annual or monthly listing fee. And then that's it. We're going to have advertising space available for Matterport service providers, people that are providing the tours. We'll have places that they can advertise. We'll have people that in the cabin industry. I mean, we'll have something geared toward cabin owners, that kind of thing. Those are going to be our revenue streams. But we're not going to worry about your booking. You book however you want.
Okay, great. So if a cabin rental owner is presently using the payment engine provided by Airbnb or HomeAway or Vacation Rental by Owner, VRBO, that it's perfectly fine to link back to a payment mechanism or a calendar booking engine or whatever it is that they're presently doing will be seamless and easy within the 3dcabintours.com platform.
Correct. That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So what are some of the pledge levels?
We've got different levels on here. We've got $199. Let's see. Let's pull it up here at the bottom. We got $25 or more. And we're going to put a shout out on the page, just to kind of saying, hey, this person believed in our vision and went for it. We've got 49, and that's the charter vendor listing. That's where we're going to put, if you're a vendor that offers services either to the guests or to the cabin owners, we're going to have a page there. You'll be on there for life. And then let's see here. We've got the $99, you get lifetime standard membership. So let's say you own a cabin and you come in and you pay the $99 for the Kickstarter campaign. Then you're going to get a standard cabin listing for life. So if we, if when it comes time to launch, we come out, we throw a number out, and let's say it's $99 a year. That's just an arbitrary number. Then you've paid $99 and you've paid $99 for life. So you kind of got that locked down. We got $199 or more for a lifetime deluxe membership. That's going to allow you to put some video in there, some photos, a lot more details with the deluxe one.
Okay, that's the one that We Get Around Atlanta signed up for.
That's correct.
Okay, great.
And so then you've got the $299. You get it, and $299 because the other ones are just listings. $299 is a 3D Matterport tour and 1 year deluxe listing. So
now that's for use actually scanning for Tri-Reality in Northeast Tennessee, scanning the property.
That's correct. Yes, I've got the distances on there right now, and I'm actually had a gentleman from the forum reach out to me and said, "Hey, I love what you're doing. I'm in Michigan, northern Michigan. Give me a call." And so I'm going to be talking to him. I've got a call scheduled this afternoon and looking at adding some locations to this, to where other people can get the service done.
Well, certainly feel free to embed the We Get Around Network map as a way for any cabin owners to easily and quickly find a Matterport Pro. And,
I'll definitely do that.
And certainly you can use your white label version of our map to have it be 3D Cabin Tours network of 3D photographers. Yeah.
I'll definitely do that. Yes.
Okay. Great.
And right now it only lists my area because that's all I could guarantee at the time. But now that you've done that, I'll expand it.
Yeah.
I'll have to get with them and make sure. But yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. And so what we're really talking about here is a national a global platform. 3dcabintours.com is not limited to a portion of Tennessee. It's really global. It's just that on a couple of your tier levels, you offer a Matterport Spaces 3D tour.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then some of the other options too, a little further down. Let's say you've got a real, or not a real. Oh, go ahead.
Forgive me, but I think I just want to pick up on your the We Get Around Network forum member that reached out to you. So I think what I'm hearing is that anyone that's watching this that is a Matterport service provider that wants to be listed in that category, that you're willing to do the scan at whatever price on that price point, they should reach out to you. So, so you can show that anyone could join in that case in Michigan, knowing that is the price and you've already figured it into your structure.
That's correct. Yes. And that's actually what the phone call today is about, to make sure that they're okay with the price. They understand, hey, this is a cut price from what you'd normally get, but it's for the Kickstarter campaign and it's really to get this off the ground. Yeah. So yeah. Yep. And this is, there's a $399 VR tour guide. Let's say you're drawing a blank.
Is this 360 video, 360 photos, Google Street View?
No, this would be when you're booking a vacation, travel agent. Let's say you're a travel agent and you're trying to kind of up your game a little bit. Then we would send you a virtual reality headset with this one, and then you'd also get some listings so that you could give them. Let's say somebody that's got a cabin that they want to list, then you could gift those to someone, turn around and resell them however you wanted to, and you would get a lifetime ad on the site. So that's really more for those travel agents.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Then $599 or more, you'd get a scan and list deluxe. That's basically the same thing as before, except you're getting a deluxe listing and the tour scan, the Matterport scan. And that's again regional, and we'll expand if other people contact me and say, hey, we'll do this in our area. Then here's one that I'm really kind of excited about. I mean, I'm excited about all of them, but $1,000 or more, and you get a multi-cabin lifetime membership. And the cool thing is you don't have to own these cabins already. You don't have to have access to them. it's 15 listings that you can use throughout the lifetime of the site. So if you're a Matterport service provider.
This is really designed for a Matterport service provider to say, hey, you know, for $1,000, you get, is it 15?
15.
15 listings for a lifetime, and that they're not one-time use for a particular property. The Matterport service provider can use it for this property, client stops paying them, they use it for this, switch to this property, and so forth. So
that's correct, and it depends on how our platform goes. There may be a small fee for you whenever you're switching properties because of updating and that kind of thing, unless we can get it fully automated. But apart from that, yeah, the listing itself, you're going to have that listing for life, or all 15.
Well, I would imagine you're going to get it fully automated because you are like this amazing full stack developer in terms of everything that you do. So, in fact, I think just as a side note, you know, many of our viewers may not necessarily recognize the name Chris Fraser or Try Reality, but probably Media Bumpers Interactive, because we've been talking a lot about Media Bumpers Interactive in the We Get Around Network Forum. Basic, Standard, and Premium members get the free use of X number of Media Bumpers Interactive, and so you're like this amazing marketing machine that kind of checks all the boxes. You're like, what's
Thank
that?
you.
I'm not a baseball person, but I think that means you're like shortstop. You play all positions or something.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I fully expect that you'll figure out how to make it as a self service platform that a photographer doesn't need to interact with you when they need to swap out their tours or something.
Definitely the goal. Yeah.
Definitely a goal. Yeah. Okay. So what else you want to talk about on 3dcabintours.com?
I think that pretty much covers it. Just letting people know that, you know, I mean, the site is going to launch whether we reach our goal or not. If we reach our goal, then we're going to have some great advertising power. We're going to have a lot more traction because we're going to have a lot more listings out of the gate. But we really would like as much buy-in as possible, especially from the We Get Around community, because I mean, I know, you know, everybody's got to be close to a cabin somewhere. You know, you may not even realize it. I mean, I drive past one on my way home every day, and so of course in my region that's a lot more common. But if there's any kind of rental cabin property in your area and that's something that interests you, then, you know, hit me up and let's get connected and figure out some way to make this profitable for you guys too. So
We Get Around Atlanta, we have a real estate agent that owns what she describes as a bungalow. I'm not quite sure it's a cabin. Could we put her bungalow on this platform?
Well, I'm looking at introducing chalets, those type of things. So, I mean, you know, smaller house type, cabin type, bungalow, you know, bring it on. We'll find a category for it.
We'll find a category.
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine that you're speaking to the head of marketing at Matterport. Is there something you'd like to say to them about what you're doing?
Yeah, I'd love to be able to offer this as a third-party service at some point. I mean, we're already doing the signs, but I mean, you know, it'd be great to have their buy-in and have their support. That would be very encouraging. So, yeah.
I'll make the pitch for you, Chris, because I want to speak a little bit bigger about Matterport. So I'm going to assume that I'm speaking now to the SVP GM of Matterport, the VP of Marketing, to say this is really what Chris is doing with 3dcabintours.com is really so exciting. In part because it solves a real problem that we as Matterport service providers experience when we can't take our Matterport 3D tour and list it on Airbnb, VRBO, Vacation Rental by Owner, HomeAway, and other platforms. So I would like to hope and imagine that Matterport, is actively working on deep integration with VRBO, Airbnb, HomeAway, and other platforms like that. But I can imagine that integration takes a long time. It takes a lot of time to sell this in. But that said, I could also imagine that you're getting pushback perhaps just like you've gotten with Zillow. And so, we see Zillow, just launching 3D tours, and we all kind of, scratch our head and say, well, gee, why wasn't that Matterport? So we can appreciate that perhaps the vacation rental platforms are pushing back, and this conversation is not as easy as we all think it could or should be. So if you're already Matterport, if you're already, in discussions with Airbnb, VRBO, and HomeAway, then, that's terrific. But if you're not making any progress, then, as Chris, help me out with this line. And instead of, if you can't beat them, join them. It's instead of, if you can't beat them,
if you can't join them, beat them.
If you can't join them, beat them.
Yeah.
And,
or supplement them. Let's put it that
supplement
way.
them.
If you can't beat,
is this is really a good time to say, hey, we're Matterport. We want to be supporters of the third-party service providers, of vendors that want to help promote the ecosystem. Chris has stepped up to the plate. He's, I would call him a full-stack developer, a master at marketing, a master at, at video. He has so many talents. And, I just think reach out to Chris and figure out how you can help fund him to get started on this venture. This is this is good, as Chris probably would say. This is win 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 for everybody. And you might say, well, we're Matterport, we do things internally and we go off and do them ourselves, so we have control over them. No, please don't do that. Be supportive of the third party community. Let an entrepreneur like Chris run with his idea, but fill his sail with wind by helping fund him. And that perhaps what you can do is go, put him over the top of his $20,000 goal by prepaying for the different pledge levels, and then provide those to the Matterport service providers in order to help feed the ecosystem both ways. One is for a platform to launch, and then second is to have Matterport service providers already have at least one no-charge tour for a year, so for a lifetime actually, so that we can use the platform. And so essentially you reduce the barrier of entry, you reduce risk, and frankly, for $20,000, let's call it a few first class tickets to Japan or something. It's not in the scheme of things, it's not a lot of money. Matterport. So test the water working with a third party provider by helping fund them to have a competitor, or at least a what was the word you used, Chris? A
supplement.
A supplement that mashes up nicely with vacation rental platforms that are not presently using Matterport 3D tours. And if you can have a nice proof of concept that 3D tours published to 3dcabintours.com is generating revenue, as Chris mentioned, for the back end, for the transaction, for the booking, to be through a VRBO or a HomeAway or an Airbnb, then you're actually, in a micro economy demonstrating for vacation rental platforms what it is that they could or should be doing. Frankly, this is the kind of thing that for $20,000, or figure out another number with Chris. I'm sure if you wanted to pay him more, he'd be happy to take a bigger number from you. But now imagine that this becomes part of your being supportive of Matterport service providers around the globe. And now imagine you might even decide to use this as a opportunity to market and promote vacation rentals. So think about what you're presently doing today, Matterport. You're pretty obsessed on residential real estate. and starting to obsess about the AEC space. And these are all great things, but to help, excuse me, to help really kick off promoting the use of Matterport for vacation rentals or hospitality, what a great way to do that, again, by filling the sale of a entrepreneur who checks all the boxes for you and requires really no work on your behalf other than writing a check. So, so thank you in advance for getting in touch with Chris. If you don't have his email address, please reach out to the We Get Around Network forum, send me a note, and we'll connect you to Chris. But I know they're already talking to you, Chris. So, you know, is your phone ringing right now? Do we hear it? You know, we are live. So
it did just light up.
so maybe that's Matterport. So anyway, I wanted to make that pitch on your behalf, Chris. I'm just so I'm just like so excited in your behalf that you know you've taken the initiative. You know, it's not like you got deep pockets to say, oh, I'm going to go off and do. I'm going to go off and say, oh, I'm a Matterport service provider. Airbnb's not working with me. I'm going to go create my own platform. So we as a community, the We Get Around Network Forum community, and Matterport perhaps is an opportunity to rise to the occasion. I wouldn't be surprised, Matterport, if you made a large enough, check to Chris, he might consider making it exclusive to Must Be a Matterport Spaces 3D tour. Don't know, can't speak for Chris, but hey, it's open for conversation. I'm just suggesting. So, Chris, I just wanted to make a pitch there for you because I know Matterport is all over reading the We Get Around Network forum, and I would imagine watching our show as well. So. Hey, folks in California, thanks for tuning in.
Hey, guys.
and watching. And so that's my pitch.
Awesome. Thank you.
So Chris, in the We Get Around Network forum, you're known as Artistic Concepts. That's at Artistic Concepts. You got another business called Try Reality, TRIREALITY.com. That's your Matterport service provider business. You run Media Bumpers. MediaBumpersInteractive.com.
That's correct.
And now you got 3dcabintours.com. So what do you do with the other half of your day?
Sleep. No. yeah. It's kind of been a little crazy trying to get everything together, but this past year has really kind of been an opportunity to learn how to work smarter, not harder. And so when I'm finding something that works, I'm beefing it up, getting it working, and then making sure it's maintained, getting another thing going, and probably not seeing the end of it.
Yeah, terrific. Now I know that your goal is on your Kickstarter is $20,000 by sometime in mid-February. That's today is Monday, January 22nd, 2018. I see behind your shoulder there's 26 more days to go. I would imagine for everyone watching this that if Chris doesn't hit his goal, just kind of knowing Chris and his energy, he'll probably still launch it. So one way or another, it's going to happen. I could imagine, Chris, you might have been seeking some publicity, and I think as soon as I saw what you were doing, you got your we published it in the forum. We're all over it on WGAN-TV.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, so I imagine that your plan is to go forward regardless.
It is, yes. Yeah, it will launch. It's just a matter of what kind of advertising power we have, what kind of cabin base we have, at the get-go, and would like to have a huge list of cabins and a lot of buying power for marketing. So.
So this is, hey, folks, this is one of your peers who stepped up to the plate. For all of us who've been obsessed in the We Get Around Network forum about the lack of integration between Matterport, Airbnb, VRBO, HomeAway, and other vacation rental platforms, here's one of your peers saying, I'm going to step up to the plate and provide a platform that I believe is win-win-win-win-win-win-win-win. I think that was to quote you sort of directly.
You're one win short, but yeah. No,
so this is that moment in time, and you kind of have a choice. You could be supportive of them today and lock in lifetime of hosting at no charge, or when 3dcabintours.com does launch that you'll still have an opportunity to participate with it. Incidentally, your credit card doesn't get charged when you sign up for 3dcabintours.com through the Kickstarter. Your credit card doesn't get charged until the last day of the campaign. So if Chris comes up short 20,000, you're going to get your money back because Kickstarter doesn't release the funds until the goal is met. So there's your risk is either that it's going to launch or it's not, and if it doesn't launch, you get your money back. But if it doesn't meet its goal, but I'm going to say it's going to launch regardless.
That's correct.
It's going to launch regardless. So if you want to find Chris's Kickstarter page, the easiest way to find it is to go to 3dcabintours.com, and Chris has a redirect on that. Takes you right to his Kickstarter page. Again, that's 3dcabintours.com. Chris, anything else before we go?
No, just a big thank you for the support and for the encouragement and for the shout out to Matterport there. So
yeah, you bet. Yes, Chris, thanks for being on the show today. Thank
you for having me.
Always glad to have you on the program, and always welcome back as well.
Thank you.
Just hey, if you're tuning in and you missed some portion of the program, we have been recording it today. We'll put it in the We Get Around Network forum by tomorrow, Tuesday, January 23rd. It'll be live in the forum. So if you want to go back and see any portion of it. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, and Chris, thanks again.
All right, thank you, Dan.
Thank you. WGAN-TV live today from Northeast Tennessee and Atlanta, Georgia. Chris, how about 2 thumbs up? We'll get a little selfie here. That we'll use that. Don't block your sign. There you go. A little higher, higher. Oh, hands apart. Lower than the logo. We don't want to block your logo. Okay, that's good. Hold it there. Yeah. That's our selfie that we will use today to post this video. Okay, great. Thanks.
Awesome. Perfect.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in. We've stopped the recording. We're still live in the forum, and I'm going to stop YouTube in a second. But just thanks again, Chris. And I know you got a shoot today too, so good luck with your shoot as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dan.
Yep.
All right.
Bye-bye.